understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city. Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DCTV report for the week ending Saturday, February 3rd, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 5 new episodes this week. I feel like 5 has been our sweet spot. Like, more than that, it's too much. A little less than that, we get a little chatty. 5, we keep things moving. We keep it zippy.
Yep. And we're gonna have to do that because I think I'm looking at like March and April, and I think there's a chance where we might have some weeks where there are 8 new shows.
Oh, I don't even. How are we? Like, forget about doing the podcast. How are we going to watch all of those? I feel like my whole life has been leading up to the challenge of watching 8 episodes of TV and then talking about it in a concise 70 minutes.
Because you got the 5 we watch now, plus Gotham's coming back, and then we got iZombie and Krypton.
iZombie. Oh, yeah, Krypton. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just have to pick the ones we liked and be like, sorry, Legends of Tomorrow. Too bad, Krypton. You sucked this week. That's not the DCTV report way.
Yeah. But no, things are looking up. And we still have a lot to talk about this week, and news. In the news, we got some new shows that are coming out that we're going to get to talk about.
Yeah, some surprising announcements this week.
Definitely. You wanna just jump right into the recaps?
Let's just jump right into the recaps.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, kicking it off with Lucifer. Ready? Season 3, episode 13. Till Death Do Us Part. Our heroes investigated the murder of a chem teacher who got thrown into a wood chipper and turned out to be an artisan ecstasy cook. In an effort to find the killer, and for Lucifer to better know Marcus, the two went undercover as a gay couple. Maze caught an irresistible scent off Charlotte and crashed her date with Dan. Last minute reveal, Lucy and Marcus bonded over their mutual fear of being alone and became committed to finding a way for Marcus to die.
Dun dun dun. So this was an episode that had so much going on. I could have taken much more time with just about every plot line and would have really enjoyed it.
Oh, definitely.
So you had the Asian mob connection, which had all these great Asian style hallway fights and K-pop and just all this good stuff there. The really eager to help drug dealer. And then you have the undercover stuff with Lucifer 100% in and Kane just like, ugh, God. And then you had the Charlotte Maze Dan thing, like everything. I enjoyed everything. I would have loved a whole 45 minutes of everything. This was one where sometimes with the case, I'm like, ugh, this case is shoehorned in. Let's get to the interesting stuff. I thought all of them were really interesting this week, and I was sad that we didn't get to play around, splash around in this pool a little bit more.
Yeah. I noticed with Lucifer and with iZombie a lot of times, when you every once in a while have this case where the victim is actually underground doing something really, really interesting that no one else knows about. And the idea that this chemistry teacher, I think Lucifer said she pulled the reverse Walter White, where she was an amazing ecstasy cook, a drug chemist, and then had to go undercover as a chemistry teacher afterwards. I think Tom Welling is really coming into his own with this character.
I am telling you, him having clear motivation and not having to be murky and mysterious has made all the difference. I understand they needed to make a big reveal, but I think we would have welcomed his character and enjoyed his character a lot more if we'd had this kind of clarity earlier. The mystery didn't do him any good.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole thing with Charlotte and Maze was just weird.
Yeah, we understand that Charlotte is trying to better herself. So that point has been hammered home. I'm not sure we need to keep going on that, but I love how uncomfortable Charlotte. Charlotte, who's out of her element, is so fun for me because she's usually so very in control of everything. And Charlotte and Dan, I love it. That's probably my favorite couple on the show right now is those two as they circle and try to figure it out, because she's just so out of his league, but he's just this scrappy little dog who keeps going back in, and I kind of want him to make it.
Now,
also, did you recognize, I don't know what your K-pop history is, but the song that played in that hallway fight as Lucifer's working his way through the karaoke bar is by SHINee, and it is Lucifer is what it's called. It's been out for like 7 years. So I think the fact that they've waited this long to use it on the show is really quite a lot of restraint. But yeah, that was the song Lucifer by a K-pop group. It was so perfect.
Oh, that's cool. I wasn't sure if that was just something that was created for the show.
No, it's a long running song. And so it's got to be the kind of thing that the showrunners have had in their back pocket for half a decade, basically, before they were finally like, this is the perfect time.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. No, and that fight scene, I did love the joke they had with Chloe, where she does that great impression of him, just kind of like, hello, drug dealers. And then he just basically says, I would never say that. And then he says, hello, drug dealers in Korean.
And what's fun is if you were an Arrested Development person, you totally recognize Annyeong, because that's that's one of the big jokes in Arrested Development. So, okay. But yeah, every time Chloe does a Lucifer impression, it makes my heart happy. And when she's spot on about what he's going to do, even better.
Yeah. But, cool. What else?
The undercover stuff was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that Lucifer is 100% natural at it. I mean, he's just Mr. Undercover, and Pierce is only there under duress. I will say them arguing in their open garage about catching a killer seems not super covert. And I thought it was interesting. I don't know if the show is intending to do this, but this is the second week in a row that them arguing with each other has made them miss the police things that they're supposed to be watching out for. And Chloe has to be like, yo, dudes, he's getting away. It happened when they kidnapped Dan, the surfers, and took him to the paddle out last week. And then this week it was the neighbor delivering the note. But twice now, Lucifer and Pierce have gotten so caught up in their drama that they kind of endangered human lives, which isn't great.
You're right.
But they were a lot of fun as an undercover couple, and when Lucifer comes back and finds Marcus arranging the crudités, it was really sweet. Okay, can I just be shallow for 1 second? Tom Ellis in glasses as a faux therapist, a very good look. Tom Ellis in an American Speedo, waving a hose around.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that whole montage was my favorite part of the episode.
The 80s music video, yeah. The other thing that I really enjoyed, and then I will stop talking about all the stuff I loved about it because I really did enjoy this. When Pierce runs down the list of all the ways that he's tried to die. Grenade down the throat, acid bath, devoured by wolves, dropped into helicopter blades, jumped into volcano. And then Lucifer asks about getting cut in half, and he's like, yeah, only one side heals. I call it my master molecule theory. And then Lucifer just says, Wolverine rules. That Pierce has developed a theory I adore, that Lucifer's just immediately like, oh yeah, no, it's you cut Wolverine in half. I get it. No, it's cool. Such a short little scene, but so funny. And
there were two comic book references. You had that one where he mentions Wolverine, and there is one moment where Tom Ellis talks to him, said we need to find your kryptonite, and just weird happen of circumstance. that would be a throwaway line if it wasn't for the fact that Tom Welling played Clark Kent for 10 years.
Yeah. Funny writing this week. I really enjoyed this. When this show hits on all counts, when the case is good, when the characterization is good, it can't miss. So that was one of those weeks.
Cool. What news do we have for this week?
Just a short little snippet that in an upcoming episode, Lucifer is going to head to hell to retrieve Abel's soul. So Marcus/Cain can maybe resolve that, which could allow him to die. So I think I cannot wait to see who they cast for that. I cannot wait to see the brotherly angst that comes from that. That has the potential to be real good.
Now, do you think they get Michael Rosenbaum as Abel?
Oh, don't tease. Oh my God. Now nothing else will do. We need to start this campaign on Twitter.
I mean, he's got a podcast now, so he has the time.
That's true. And I've actually seen the Tom Welling on Michael Rosenbaum podcast episode, and it's delightful. They obviously work well together.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to what's up next? Supergirl. Yep. So season 3, episode 12, For Good. Morgan Edge blamed Lena for an assassination attempt, and tensions escalated quickly. Alex magically sprouted a background in medicine and tested Samantha to try and find the root of her memory loss. Last minute reveal, when Scan found 4 leads on the hidden world killers, and Kara recognized one of them from a dream.
Dun, dun, dun. So,
okay,
I recapped this for EW.com, just like I did with Lucifer, and I was quite taken to task in the comments for not getting the inside joke about Alex's magical medical background when she says, I used to work for a hospital in Seattle. Apparently, she was on Grey's Anatomy. That's not a show that I follow. And everybody in the comments was just like, I can't believe that she didn't comment on the Grey's Anatomy. Dudes, I didn't. So I guess that's really funny. But you're right. Out of nowhere, Alex is like, oh, I can do an MRI. I can do this. I can draw blood. I guess I forgot about that.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be, it would be funny if the fact that this show's been on for 3 years and there's absolutely no context for that. There is no point in anywhere as she even pulled out a first aid kit. And then even in this episode, at the end of this episode, when I forget if it's James or someone, no, maybe it's Lena's brought into the DEO and there are medics around, and immediately Alex takes charge and pulls out gauze pads and is patching her up, and I'm like, they're laying this on real thick, and there's no precedent for this, and this is bothering me a lot.
Yeah, ever so often she'll jump in when Kara was brought in after the fight with Rain in the mid-season finale. She'll jump in, but I always kind of thought it was more sisterly concern than I'm a doctor. So it was a little strange diagnosing the cyanide, and I just the whole. Okay, that said, I enjoyed this episode mostly because of Lena and the Lexo suit. I'm so excited that Lena seems to have maybe been re-energized to pursue whatever her dreams were prior to buying a vanity media company. I'm hoping she'll step away from the vanity media company and get back to being bomb-ass Lena Luthor again. That's what I would like to see. Because at the end, when she tells Morgan Edge, you know where to find me, my name's on the building. Yeah, I want that Lena back. Give us that Lena.
Yeah. I think Lena's scenes were great. Morgan Edge is relentless in this episode. And I like how he immediately blames Lena and does not acknowledge that there's any other enemies that he might have in this world.
Well, and Lena does the same thing when she wakes up from poisoning, and James and Kara are like, "Oh, it was Edge." Dude, you don't have any evidence of that. Nobody investigated. Everybody jumped to conclusions in kind of a dangerous escalate kind of way. So I was a little frustrated, especially with James and Kara, who are in theory reporters who should know. You don't just assume because he was there twirling his evil mustache of evil that it was him. It felt a little rushed, and I mean, Supergirl, all the CW Arrowverse shows have a tendency to kind of gloss over plotty plot to get to the end results. Witness the Flash trial. They needed to get to point Z, and so points A through Y were ridiculous. So, but I like the show so much, I'm willing to forgive quite a bit.
Yeah. And
that said, also, Kara, that security guard was just doing his job and trying to keep party crashers out. You didn't have to punch him. Like, that's not cool. So, Ed, do you believe for a second that sunny, sunshiny Tyler Hoechlin Superman killed General Zod? Because this is, I believe, the first time we've got in-show confirmation that happened. And it just left me saying, no, come on. The movie that shall not be named? Yeah, no. I just don't see that.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that's exactly what they were talking about. I mean, I think there may have been circumstances that led to General Zod's death, but so
you don't think that they were trying to make us think this thing that happened in the movie, this is the way it went down here too? You're not trying to link it that much with...
No.
Okay.
No. If you tell me General Zod's not around anymore, that he's dead, I could believe that, but I don't. I would not believe that Tyler Hoechlin snapped his neck. And when they talk about Lex on the show, I always kind of link it to what happened in the movie. So I sort of link that Superman comment to that too. And I just had a really hard time picturing that Superman doing that. I think that's one of the weakest parts of the show, and that's one of the problems with introducing the Luthors and Superman is where on earth does it fit into the DCU canon, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you could say Lex Luthor's in prison. I can believe that.
That's safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely reason for that. What did you think of Lillian showing up?
I love her twisty motivations. She's evil. Does she love her daughter? Does she want to manipulate her daughter? Did she do it because you don't mess with the Luthors? Did she want to gain something that she didn't want to mention? I love that you cannot trust her. I always am like, oh, I want her to be a good mom, even though she's evil, but I don't know. But the Lexo suit. Okay, so you're Brenda Strong. In your wildest dreams, did you think that you would someday end up in a green Iron Man / Green Goblin-ish suit with computer display racing across your screen, blasting people from the sky? Like, that just is such a weird turn for that actress. I loved all of it.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. I thought it was cool. I figured, eventually we would have to get back to her somehow. I thought it was an interesting test of Lena's character. I thought that this is the best story that she's had.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And, because the stuff with James I could see that they're trying to give something for those characters to do, but it just hasn't felt right. And even when Guardian shows up this week, it just felt like shoehorned in, and it didn't really,
Is there ever a time when Guardian doesn't feel shoehorned in?
Yeah. They got to figure out something to do with Jimmy Olsen. Although that is one thing I have noticed this season, like compared to last season, is we have not seen Kara be a reporter at all this season.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. I don't understand how she still gets a paycheck.
Yeah. And I think that's something that they need to work on a little bit more. Not having Snapper Carr around. And we need Cat Grants. We need Callista Flockhart.
We need Cat Grant so badly.
I know you want to be with your kids in LA.
Catco just doesn't work without her. It really doesn't. To the point where I almost wish that Kara would go work for the DEO full time. Just say, yeah, I'm gonna do PR for this shady government agency and make that her cover story. I don't know. I understand that, she. I get why we still have Catco in the narrative, but it's just not working for me at this point. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I mean, this episode, especially with the B plots, left a lot to be desired for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think that the Lena story was good, and that it was nice to give that character a little bit more breadth.
We also got a reference to Computo, which Mon-El and Brainy fought with drones. And which I Googled, and Computo looks exactly the way I expected Computo to look.
Like a giant computer?
Yes. Like a giant 70s computer.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of Legion in this episode.
No, I don't know where Imra was at all. We got Mon-El and Kara and Supergirl fighting together and agreeing that they're a good team. But we didn't get Brainy. The Legion, I don't know, they seem to be off doing things as the plot needs or doesn't need them. So I guess we don't need a rundown of, okay, well, Brainy's here and Imra's here. But it was kind of strange that it was just Mon-El who showed up. I did like Lena being like, oh, Mon-El is back. Oh no, I have to tell Kara. Kara, I have some bad news. Your boyfriend is back. Do you know about that? And he's with Supergirl. I also thought there was kind of a gross moment at the end there where James shows up and Lena says, boy, you missed all the fun. And here's Kara. Mon-El was back with Supergirl. And it's like, okay, your boyfriend and your best friend are both lying to you. I understand you can't be really free with your secret identities, but poor Lena. It just was, she's very much on the outside. I get it. She's a Luthor, but she's really trying hard to overcome that. I don't know. It just made me think, I hope that there's a reckoning with that. I'm not saying I want a big falling out, but the very human reaction would be, you lied to me about this for how long? To my face, you lied to me. That's not okay. So I hope that was setting up more relatable conflict to come. I'm not looking for soap opera drama, but I just think it was just a kind of an icky, everybody's lying to Lena moment.
All right. And so what news do we have from Supergirl this week?
Just a quick interview with David Harewood, who said one of the things he likes about John's relationship with the Danvers women is that he's been kind of watching out for them since they were children. So now they've grown up and the role is kind of reversed. And so he will come to them for advice. It's kind of like, parents with grown daughters and how that relationship evolves. And anytime John acts like a father to the Danvers girls, my heart gets a little melty. He also said that John likes to sort of take the alien immigrant population that's newly arrived at Earth under his wing. So that's part of sort of what his character does. We haven't seen as much of the alien stuff this season. I feel like we're not doing the alien bar as much. We're not doing quite as much of that. I feel like we haven't seen John in weeks, actually. He shows up and delivers a couple of lines and bops off again. So hopefully that foreshadows a little bit more Martian Manhunter to come.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along. Over to The Flash. Season 4, episode 12. Sorry, I'm reading this off a phone. Honey, I Shrunk Team Flash. Cecile's pregnancy caused her to develop telepathy, and Joe became frustrated that she kept reading his mind. Barry got a hunch that Big Sur may be falsely imprisoned and asked the team to look into it. Silbert Rundin, aka Dwarf Star, shrank large buildings, vehicles, and eventually Cisco and Ralph to about 5 inches tall. Last-minute reveal, Warden Wolf discovered Barry's secret, drugged him, put him in an anti-metacell, and made a call to Amunet Black.
This was a busy episode.
Yes, it was. And it was tons of fun. I did enjoy this a lot. I thought the Cecile storyline came way out of left field. This was really
Okay.
weird.
Cecile is officially the worst person on television, not just DC TV, all of television. Listen, if somebody has to sit you down and be like, here's why people don't like it when you read their minds without their permission, you're a sociopath. Like, you shouldn't have to have that explained to you. Of course, people. Also, I hope she walked around that whole episode knowing that everybody thinks she is the worst lawyer to ever practice law. I hope she got a big dose of that. Like, I was really upset with Cecile this week. The end, when she unloaded all of her own concerns on Joe, that was cool. I liked that relationship moment. But her being like, I don't understand. Do you not want me to hear your thoughts? Yeah, of course not. Damn.
It's a new toy. She wants to play around with it.
I don't. Has she never heard with great power comes great responsibility? Has that never once crossed her mind? I get it's a new toy, but like, all of the writing about Iris that used to frustrate me has somehow been crammed into Cecile this season.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Ugh.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know who that baby is now.
Do you have thoughts? Do you have?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's weird. The whole idea that Caitlin and Cisco were coming up with, that maybe it's latent dark matter, like this is how the particle accelerator affected Cecile. I don't know if I'm buying that. I think it's more that her kid is a metahuman.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it would be a meta thing, although I don't know. Are metas born or are they made? I guess it's both. I guess a lot of the ones that we know of are particle accelerator based, but you've got all kinds of people in the DC verse. But
yeah, you don't know how that what kind of mutations that's going to cause. But on to the main story. We got Dwarf Star, who is traditionally an Atom villain.
That makes sense with the shrinking and the embiggening.
Yes. And very, very different take on him. No costume, but he was weird and scary. I got a kick out of it. And Ralph and Cisco both being 5 inches tall. That I thought that was a fun little storyline.
I really enjoyed it. I felt like the team were all kind of dicks to them. Like, it wasn't their fault. Everybody was so grossed out by little Ralph. Ralph didn't do that on purpose. Ralph didn't deserve to be stepped on.
Yeah, but he was really gross. He was really... When he shows up on the bottom of that shoe, you're like, oh, God. I mean, thank God it was him that she stepped on and not Cisco. Yeah.
But everybody was so cavalier about put him in the hamster. I mean, it was funny, but at the same time, a little compassion for, oh my, we'll figure this out, guys. I'm sorry here. The best thing we could do is put him in the hamster cage. Oh God. Crisis counselors, they're not. But I thought that was a show where the special effects could have gone very wrong, but they were a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hanging out in the Lego Playland. It was good.
Yeah. Some good moments with Cisco and Harrison this week.
Oh, Harrison, I loved this week. I loved the gorilla prison is worse. and the whole sort of crisis of confidence that he had going on. Yeah, I liked Harry a lot this week. I always like Harry, but he had some nice beats this week. Yeah,
and is this so? Goldberg is only going to be in 2 episodes?
That's a shame. He's a charisma machine. The WWE knows how to cast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe he actually started with WCW before they merged with WWE.
Oh my God!
What?
I never know what you're going to be an expert in. I'm impressed. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it was like just this one pocket of wrestling in 7th grade, and that was it. And never back again.
I loved the whole arc. I was super uncomfortable with Barry promising, I promise we'll take care. Don't, Barry, no. What are you doing? But it ended. That was just a really lovely ending. Really, I really loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and he ends up in Jinzhou, China. I thought that was really sad, and really Jiaju. I'm sorry, Jiaju, China. I thought that was really cool, and that note. We got our.
He'll blend in really well there.
Yeah. Yes.
He really won't stick out at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, like Interpol isn't going to show up and pick him up and. They're monks. They'll take him in. But it is nice to know that Richard Brooks isn't slumming it. Like he's actually going to be doing something now in the show.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week. That was a genuinely surprising reveal there at the end. I thought that, Barry. How often do we have Barry's secret exposed to somebody who really shouldn't know Barry's secret? So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I want to know. I'm wondering what this means for the rest of the show. Like, does this make it fully public now?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we somehow wipe his mind, retcon? Drop him in Gorilla World. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe it's the kind of thing where he told Aminette Black that he has the Flash, but he didn't tell her his identity.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would assume were I the warden, I would want to keep that knowledge to myself to keep the upper hand, because if you tell Aminette Black, maybe she pulls some strings with Barry's friends and family and makes things harder for you to broker the deal. I'd keep that information private for as long as I could. If I were a meta-selling, super villainous warden of the most telegenic, clean, and friendly prison in the world.
Yeah. One quick thing. Did you think it was super convenient that the guy who happened to have committed the murder Big Sur is in prison for also just, at the same time was shrinking buildings?
Yeah.
It seemed a little convenient.
You think?
Yeah.
Again, trying to get to point Z, not so concerned about the plausibility of points A through Y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, I thought it was fun action beats. And I did like that arc for Big Sur.
Yeah, very much.
Did you catch the Cord Industries?
I did. Cord Industries is in multiple cities in the U.S. I'm pleased with their expansion.
Yes. Yeah, we still have not met Ted Cord yet, though. So
they have to be teasing that we're going to. You can't keep mentioning Cord Industries and not, drop the Blue Beetle in, right?
No. I don't think you can.
I also super loved the mayor just being like, I hate this city. That was a much more fun take on mayorhood than Mayor Oliver Queen, who's just like, everything is on my shoulders. Just the mayor. I hate it.
Yeah. All right. Any news for the Flash?
Yeah. So a couple of pieces of news, and then one kind of funny thing. We'll start with funny. The comicbook.com suggests that when Barry's in his cell and he's making the hash marks to track his time in prison, I actually noticed and was like, Barry doesn't know how to make hash marks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 hash, but he just makes it's Barry. That's not how you do it. So CB.com suggests that it's not that he's a dummy who can't make hash marks. It's that he's using a form of interlac, which indicates that the Speed Force threw him into the future.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Stop it. That's enough.
Interlac? No. So that is, as I understand it, it is a futuristic language.
Stop it. This is the guy never done tally marks when he was a kid. And that's what he thought he did. So he's just making these hash marks. It's not a secret alien language. I think this is just a case of people reading way too into this.
Why do you have to shut yourself off from extreme possibilities, Dad? It's sad. It's sad is what it is.
That is the most fanboy thing I've ever heard.
I don't know if maybe they were stretching because you saw the mysterious girl making notes the week before in her notebook, and I assume that was interlac. Was that interlac?
I don't know. It was something.
Oh. Are you not our resident show interlac translator?
Yeah. No. Fake alien languages, not yet a strong suit. Still trying to figure out in Klingon the difference between a KH sound and a CH sound.
Do you run pronunciation drills every night before bed, though?
Yeah.
It's the only way to improve is to practice.
This is true.
Okay, actual news. Another Glee alum is going to appear on the show. Max Adler will play Pyro in an episode in March. Adler played Dave Karofsky, the bully in Glee. And with this, the CW's Arrowverse shows has become the #1 employer of former Glee cast members.
Hey, here we go.
Yeah. I think Lea Michelle's show, The Mayor, just got canceled, so I cannot wait until they bring her in as some sort of meta singing diva. That's going to be really exciting. And Kevin Smith's Instagram posted a photo of Danny Trejo in costume, so he is coming back to The Flash, which is good news.
Yay. That's great.
We have recently started watching Taken, my husband and I, on NBC. He likes it significantly more than I do because guns, punch, shoot. But the actress who plays Gypsy has joined in season 2, and she's elevated it quite a bit. I'm liking it a lot more with her particular energy that she brings to the action scenes and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I've been enjoying Gypsy on Taken. I'm glad to hear that Danny Trejo's coming back because it's going to mean more Gypsy. So the whole thing is pleasing to me.
Nice. All right.
And that's it for The Flash.
Moving on to Black Lightning. Season 1, Episode 3, Lawanda, the Book of Burial. Inspired by Black Lightning's return and Lawanda's death, Reverend Holt decided to lead a march for freedom against the 100, and Jefferson and Gamby worked to protect the parade from an attack by Tobias Whale. Jennifer announced to Lynn and Jefferson that she was ready to have sex with her boyfriend Khalil. Anissa worked on her powers in a junkyard and went to a cosplay party with a girl she met at a bookstore. Last minute reveal, Jennifer learned from the doctors that Khalil was shot in the spine and may not walk again.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Dang.
Yeah, so a lot of things, the most awkward family dynamic conversation that I would have never ever expected to see in a superhero TV show.
Yeah, is her relationship with her parents normal? And was mine abnormal? Or was mine normal and is hers abnormal? Because I would rather have set myself on fire at that table than ever say to my parents, Mom, Dad, guess what? Nope.
Oh, this was not normal.
I guess we're supposed to appreciate the honest relationship that they have built with one another. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's different in 2018 than it was when I was coming up, but
yeah. This feels to me like what the producers hope a 2018 family dynamic would be. I don't know if this is exactly the case, because I can imagine if my sister had said this to my parents, and it would not have gone over the same way. Although I do think that they, they show that this is a different world. This is a different type of family. I do love the way that that Jefferson dealt with it, though.
Yeah. Yes.
I thought that whole thing conversation he had with Khalil about athlete's foot was hysterical.
I cringed. I cringed out of my skin. I actually didn't like that. I felt like this show is so grounded and so authentic. That part felt weird to me. I didn't like it. It just stuck out for me as a tonal shift that I didn't appreciate. It was weird.
Well, I mean, to me, I think it was supposed to feel weird and awkward. I think it was kind of like, he's got to be a dad in some way, and he's standing right there, so he's got to acknowledge it. And I thought that was just a funny way. Rather than just saying, hey, him saying, hey, I got the shotgun, or saying I'm not afraid to go to prison, which is the kind of things my dad always said he would say to my sister's girlfriends, to my sister's boyfriends. This was an interesting way of him establishing dominance, and that he was not going to suffer fools.
Yeah.
But it was very weird. It was very weird. I will acknowledge that.
And I think Khalil thought so too. What?
Yeah. And Anissa, her relationship was like, we had this hot and heavy scene with Shenhua last week, and then all of a sudden she just kissed her to the side for Grace Choi of all people.
Of all people, Grace Choi was awesome.
Yes.
I think we saw that though in last week's episode that she wasn't that into you. You could tell she wasn't wanting to be open about their relationship. And so, I want to say her mom Lynn even said, you were never into her the way she was into you. So I don't think if mom isn't surprised when your relationship ends, it's not a solid relationship if mom's like, yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Yeah.
So, I love the Grace introduction. I love the cosplay party. I love the cat ears. I also love that Grace suggested that Anissa dress as Supergirl, which does that indicate that this is the Supergirl Earth?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if there was, because it was also like she pulled out a copy of The Outsiders, and it had like the DC logo from the late 80s, early 90s on it. Like, I don't know if that was like an actual issue of The Outsiders. Like, that was one of the things I tweeted out from the @DC TV Report account. Like, is that the first time that an actual DC comic has shown up in a CW DC show? So I don't know if it's kind of like Supergirl's a character and she's just mentioning it. And from I did see some news stories about that, but the producers didn't acknowledge anything. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. Now, are you a comic purist such that the folding and shoving into the back pocket of a comic book physically pained you?
Not gonna lie. I did have no.
Because all of our comics are on boards in plastic bags.
Yeah. You bag and board them. Although I was talking with our executive producer Bill Sweeney earlier this week, and he mentioned they're just like, she's an actual comic person. Like he kind of accepted, that comics get tossed around sometimes. But, everyone has their own way of collecting.
And I thought that too. I'm that way about my books. I've not lent books to people after they returned them all dog-eared to me, because who dog-ears somebody else's book? But, we all have our own relationships with the printed word. And God bless.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Is Black Lightning's suit ever a problem when he's trying to hide? Because that thing glows. Like, how does he lurk?
I don't know. Maybe, I'm sure he has like
Is there a dimmers?
I'm sure he has like a stealth mode that he can go into.
I hope so. As he was lurking on that rooftop, I was just like, can't everybody see him? Because he's literally lit up.
Yeah.
For me, the best subtle commentary on race and power in society this week was that really earnest blonde reporter they sent to cover the aftermath of the shooting. You have a reporter who's not a member of the community who shows up to be like, tell me what you think. And it's something I am a professor of journalism. And so we talk about, you have to be present in the community and establish those connections so people will talk to you and this and that. But it just was so spot on with our media today that you have people covering things from outside the community in a way that maybe doesn't capture all the nuance. I don't know if they intended that to be a statement, but to me, it spoke really loud and clear about how the media covers issues like this in ways that are maybe not as good as they could be. I also love the dude being interviewed being like, nah, my dude. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. What did you think of, the first half of this focusing on Jefferson and Henderson, and Inspector Henderson trying to talk Reverend Holt out of the march?
I loved the whole, Black Lightning wants to help people, but he's also inspiring them, but it's also putting them in situations where maybe they're going to be put in danger. And so the Reverend's heart is in the right place, but I loved the call out to, you're blotting your head with a silk handkerchief. the money that comes with his position. And so, yeah, he's in it for his parishioners, but is he also in it for the donations? And there was a lot of swirling, again, class, motivation and intent issues there that I think is a little more subtle than a lot of the other Arrowverse shows get. And I really love that.
Yeah, I also liked, I thought it was interesting Jefferson's perspective where he realizes that, Reverend Holt is partially doing this because of Black Lightning. And if something goes wrong, he doesn't want to be held responsible for it. He doesn't want to feel responsible, in case something horrible happens. I think that was an interesting moral dilemma that Jefferson's in now, where like he started this and these are the consequences, and like he's literally, Reverend Holt is telling him straight to his face, I'm doing this because of Black Lightning, because I feel that he's inspired me.
Yeah. I every time they tell us who is Jefferson to the community, who is Black Lightning to the community, and then we see Jefferson struggle with how does he reconcile that, and what kind of responsibility does he carry for that? What kind of responsibility does he carry for Lawanda's death? It's incredibly powerful. They have such a good actor in him. I think he really just has the gravitas, and it takes a lot of subtlety to react as Jefferson and as Black Lightning in those situations, and he handles it beautifully.
Yeah.
Now, we had our first look at Lady Eve this week. What did you think about her?
Oh, I thought she was great.
She was scary. Yeah. She was scarier than all those scary dudes.
And Tobias Whale is scary, and if she can stand up to him, I think that really says something.
Yeah, absolutely. I am looking forward to her getting more screen time. Definitely.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just thinking in this episode, man, James Remar is only good when he's skeevy. Like, kind of wannabe Alfred James Remar is sort of boring. His acting's kind of stiff, and then bam, betrayal. So, all right.
Yeah. What's going on there?
What's going on? Is it blackmail? Is it mixed allegiances? Is he truly bad? I don't know.
Well, we'll see. And tragic ending. Poor Khalil. I hope he pulls through.
Khalil. Oh. Do you think he will be paralyzed? Will he make a miraculous recovery with the encouragement of loved ones to walk again? What do you think?
I don't know. I just think everyone's breathing a sigh of relief that, he and Jennifer are going to have some time to think about it before they get on.
Cooling off period.
Any news for Black Lightning this week?
So much of the news is laudatory about how good the show is, how it's tackling race in new ways that other comic book shows don't. Luke Cage accepted, of course. So it's great, but it's a lot of similar coverage, similar praiseworthy coverage, but still. One thing that I did notice was a report that Anissa is going to join her father in crime fighting in this next episode coming up. So I don't have details about, will he know it's her? How will this all unfold? But I am looking forward to that, because honestly, if you had superhero abilities, you'd totally film yourself kicking garbage at the dump. Would you not? I would.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So she's working up to it.
All right. So moving on to Arrow. Season 6, Episode 12, All for Nothing. 5 years ago, Dinah and Vincent met while working together on an undercover assignment. In the present, Vincent tried helping Team Arrow track down Caden James and ended up blowing his cover. Quentin believed Black Siren was following him and asked Thea for help reaching out to his doppelganger daughter. And last-minute reveal, in light of Vincent's brutal death, Dinah vowed to kill all the bad guys, starting with Black Siren.
Yeah, death by Siren does not look pleasant.
Yeah, no, that was brutal. That was brutal.
That really was. I don't care much for Vince either way. And this episode didn't really change that for me. I'm sorry, I'm cold-hearted, but that was hard to watch.
Yeah. So quick full disclosure. My grandmother passed away this week. And I watched this last night, the night before we're recording this, right after her wake, and my sister and her husband, Mike, are in town, staying with us. So coming after home, I watched Arrow to recap it, and Mike sat next to me the whole episode, and afterwards turned to my sister Irene and said, "We need to start watching more shows like this." So,
and that was a journey that you just took us on, and I'm so sorry about your grandma.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you. But so he was impressed with this episode, and then started asking me questions about the whole particle accelerator scene. And when I got to the point explaining that Black Siren was Quentin's daughter from another universe, he went, "Stop."
Wait, was that a selling point, or was that a
that was no, stop. Just I'll catch up later. I'll figure it out.
So
awesome. So, I don't know if he's going to continue with Arrow, but when I told him Black Lightning is only 3 episodes in, he's like, he wanted to jump into that.
Cool.
So, so there's that. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, a lot going on this episode. I think this is aside from the flashbacks, I thought this was some of the best stuff we've seen from Vigilante and Black Canary. The whole Dinah Vincent relationship.
Agreed. Yeah. My problem with the flashbacks, other than that they were flashbacks, is they were flashbacks that covered things we had already seen. We knew all this stuff. This was not new. This didn't give any kind of new dynamic to their relationship. Mm-hmm. They missed an opportunity to focus on the emotion, the more of the falling in love, what you mean to me. I mean, it followed the same plot beats that had been covered in the previous origin story for Dinah. So it was a very strange choice of flashback content, I thought.
Yeah. It felt like, we haven't done this in a while. Let's do it. And they didn't really earn it. And it also feels like there were 2 scenes that like could have been legitimate, and they had to stretch them out over 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But a heartbreaking thing. You saw Caden James at his best in this episode. And really letting those tinker. I did love that scene where Felicity's in his ear and
telling him what to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and helps Vincent do the tech talk. To get him out of that sticky situation. I wish you'd had a little bit more, because it seems like the team is reunited at the end of this episode. Although Black Canary is now going to break off, so I don't know what's going on there.
No, I don't think so. I think it's still A team and B team. But I think the B team, the Canary team, is going to start killing again. I mean, that was my impression, because Renee, in the moment in the week when I wanted to punch Renee in the mouth, which seems to be happening with frequency this season, was him being in the Arrow cave and saying, "I'm getting PTSD. I have to get out of here." Okay, man, you're the one who betrayed Oliver, so let's calm down a little bit. But he did not sound at all ready to rejoin the team. Dinah's angry with Oliver because he wouldn't go help Vinny in that final showdown. So she's definitely not coming back. I got a sense that she was going to be going dark and taking her team with her. And I was curious, what's Curtis going to do? I think Renee will be fine with it, but I'm curious if Curtis will be like, "Nah, I got to go back to," I don't think he will, but I also thought Oliver was remarkably bad at comforting her at the end. He showed up and was just kind of like, "I told you so." He sort of Donald Trumped her with he knew what he was signing up for. Like, okay, that doesn't help her if the love of her life just got killed in front of her face. So Oliver didn't help much. For a guy who deals with guilt and things like that on the reg, he should have been better at that.
He should not have gone there alone. He should have brought Felicity with her. with him.
Oh, for sure. Or John. I think John and Dinah have that relationship where they were confiding and sort of supporting each other. So it was strange that John would have been the more, I mean, Oliver is the leader of the other team, but Oliver and John, all three of them, I don't know, something other than just Oliver's emotional incapacity apparently would have been better.
Yeah. What did you think of the Quentin story this week?
I think I'm pretty strongly on record as saying I'm not super interested in a Black Siren redemption arc. This is the first episode that made me think maybe I would enjoy that more than I expect, because I like the cracks that she's showing in her facade.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I mean, I think she had to force herself to kill Vincent to keep her position on the bad guys team.
Yeah.
And I like the internal turmoil that presumably caused. I did not like Quentin saying, I saw my daughter in her eyes there for a second, because that's not his daughter. And that's, so I still am super mixed on my reaction to the storyline. I like it more than I thought I would. And yet I also am really frustrated with Quentin, because this is a stone killer. Like,
yeah, I also thought it was a weird move for him to show her all the pics of Black Canary.
Yeah.
And not go straight for the family pics. It seemed like he's in his office afterwards, and then he's looking through the photo album and goes like, "Oh, why didn't I start with this?" You know, because she's already in that point. She's in a similar costume. She has those powers. You know, it's just her doing it for good instead of evil. But yeah, I don't know. I did like this. I thought it gave Thea something interesting to do.
Yep. Although I feel bad. Do you think accountants watch TV and are just like, we're not all pale, weedy, skinny, nervous guys. Not all accountants, man. Not all accountants.
Yeah, and he's not going to find that money.
No.
If it's not there, it's not there. He's not going to, just find this one account lying under. Yeah, that was a really weird setup, but yeah, no, but overall, I thought this built up the tension. I think it was an interesting way, because you knew that Vigilante's situation in this story was tenuous, and
once he was pretty firmly on the good guy's side, you kind of had to figure it was going to end badly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But still, it was, for all that I was lukewarm about his relationship with her in their flashbacks, that was an effective scene. And and for all that I'm frustrated with B Team for splitting off and just kind of being a bag of dicks in general,
Mm-hmm.
And I know you feel slightly differently about it than I do. I felt bad for Dinah. I really did. I like that actress, and I like the character, and I've been frustrated by this split, and I'm frustrated that she's going to blame Oliver for this, and that we're going to have continued bad vibes.
Yeah. We'll just have to see. But yeah, no, I don't know what else to say. But
yeah, that was unusually, I mean, Arrow's a dark show, but that was rough.
Yeah.
That death was rough.
Yeah. And Caden James does not play around.
No, he does not. And that actually gets to our only bit of news this week for Arrow, if this is a good pivot point for that.
Go for it.
Michael Emerson gave an interview to Parade magazine, and one of the comments was about Arrow. He said, I can indulge myself in villainhood a little more broadly on Arrow. And I thought that was such a polite way of saying, I chew all the scenery. And that's what makes him so fun, is he's so evil.
Yeah. And I think he's a great villain for this arc, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And that's it for the live episodes this week, right?
Yeah. Let's get on to news from other shows.
All right, so a little bit of Legends of Tomorrow news. We have a teaser trailer for the Legends return in 2 weeks, and it looks like a lot of magic, demon, exorcism stuff, which is not a surprise, of course, because you've got Constantine in the house. Yeah. So you can check that out. It's all over the interwebs. Also, Rip and Wally will both be back. Well, Rip will be back. Wally will be there on the February 19th episode. But Wally's not going to jump right into being a full-time member of the team. It's going to take a couple of episodes before he decides to fully commit, apparently. So that'll be fun to see how he gets to know the team. And I think that's such an interesting mixture of personalities that watching a new person interact is going to be fun. Although we did get that earlier this season because we have had some, new additions. Anyway. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And lastly, for Legends, Brandon Routh Instagrammed a shot of him on set with what looks kind of Fortress of Solitude-y set decorating. So the question is, are they in a Fortress of Solitude of some sort? Or was it just a set decoration that made him think of the good old days when he was headlining tentpole comic book movies? I don't know. We'll see. We're now on to Gotham.
Okay.
All right. So Gotham news this week. Ben McKenzie was on the Colbert late night. The Colbert late night. I don't know what any of those shows are called.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Oh my God. Thank you. The one with Colbert, the one with Kimmel, the one with Fallon. That's what they're called. He was on Colbert, and it was kind of a cute little interview. He said that his kids are young enough that he can teach them that Batman's not the real hero. Jim Gordon was Batman before Batman was Batman. So he's teaching them about the heroics of Jim Gordon. What's sad for me is that his kids don't know that Jim Gordon is supposed to have a mustache. #grow the stash.
Yeah, he's going to work on that.
Really is. He also said that when people come up to him, it always seems to happen when he's on set, but he's at craft services eating a Danish. And apparently that's not the most dignified way to meet fans with a mouthful of fruit and pastry. And then this is kind of a cool little bit of news that has nothing to do with casting or anything, but New York State gives tax breaks for TV and movies that film in state. And they've been reporting who received the incentive since 2014. And season 2 of Gotham got the most tax breaks for anything since they've started reporting. Season 2 got $24.5 million in tax breaks. And so obviously those figures are a little out of date, but that's just, government takes a while to report that kind of stuff. So we'll have to see what the most recent batch is when they're released. But yeah, Gotham gets the most tax breaks of anything. Do you think it's the name? Are they like, we'll give you money?
Yeah,
you call Gotham.
Yeah, I see Gotham. They do have a presence on Staten Island, where I live. Just a few blocks down, there's a parking lot where you will always see like Gotham Coroner or GCPD vehicles parked in there.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And I think I think that's really cool. It's nice to see them taking advantage of that. And there are a lot of states that offer those, but New York is one of those states, and it's interesting to see that they're the show that's taking the most advantage of that. You'd think it would be Law and Order.
Yeah, you'd think. I assume Law and Order single-handedly is what keeps all the actors in New York working. So
yeah, for a long time at least, especially when they had 3 shows on the air. But
I bet. So that's it for Gotham. Moving on to iZombie. We have a season 4 trailer. Yay! It dropped online. You can find it again any place fine trailers are available, and it kind of gives you a sense of what newly zombified Seattle looks like and what the wall looks like, and it gives us some answers, or at least it gives us some hints at how certain cliffhangers resolve themselves. I don't want to say too much in case anybody wants to remain blissfully clue free, but it is going to be fun to see our friends back in action. Also, Ed, I forgot to run through this with you before we started recording, but apparently also Ravi is naked for most of the premiere. I don't know how or why,
Yeah.
but I welcome it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there was one clip of that in the trailer I noticed. But
yeah, so apparently they double down and are just like, yeah, he's mostly naked most of the time. And season 4 filming actually wrapped on Tuesday, so they are all done with the filming part of things. So now we just have to get it on the air. I am anxious for this show to be back.
Yeah. Let's make it happen, people. Let's go.
Let's see. Moving on to Titans. So,
music.
Guess what? We're getting another version of Ra's al Ghul, apparently, if a new casting breakdown is to be believed. So, comicbook.com reports that the show is looking for a male, 40s to 50s, Middle Eastern, Latin, or East Indian, seeking a young Richard Attenborough type. I mean, aren't we all, though? Fearless, manipulative, with unparalleled intelligence, recurring guest star, seeking recognizable faces only, which sounds kind of racist.
Yeah, definitely. It's recognizable faces only. Wow. So
Yeah. Which is interesting because they're not sparing money on this. You know, they're casting big. They're bringing in really recognizable, well, I shouldn't say really, but they're bringing in recognizable people. I'd say like B-list, C-list, but still it's not complete unknown. So, when are we going to see Titans, Ed? When are we going to see Titans?
I don't know. I think it's time this service got itself a name, but more on that a little later in the show.
Put a pin in that. Tiny bit of Watchmen news. Every time there's Watchmen news, it makes my heart happy because it means it's moving forward. But the pilot has a director, and it will be Nicole Kessel, who has worked with Damon Lindelof quite a bit on The Leftovers. She, Leftovers people out there, she directed the Lion Sex Boat episode. So...
I don't know. I don't watch that show, so I have no idea what that means.
Justice for Frasier. Okay. It's literally a lion sex boat. I don't know what's to understand. Where's the confusion? Lion sex boat. She also has directed episodes of The Americans and Rectify, which are some of the best shows that have aired on television in recent years. So she is a capital D director, and I'm thrilled. So very exciting.
Yeah.
And then the final bit of news is kind of a head scratcher for me. There's a new show announcement for the unnamed, unrelease dated DC TV streaming service, or DC streaming service. And that new show is Metropolis. And it's going to follow pre-Superman Lois Lane and Lex Luthor as they investigate fringe science.
Does this mean it's like Metropolis meets Fringe, or just like
I don't know. Fringe science. Okay, so Lois Lane is a reporter. She's a hard-nosed reporter. She's I mean, she was my hero when I was fringe science with Lex Luthor. Just no. But I don't know. You say things. I can't.
Yeah. This is weird because, between Smallville, Krypton, and now Metropolis, Superman's going to have 3 different origin TV shows. And I always felt like his well was nowhere near as deep as Batman's. Metropolis, like Gotham, you do have a lot more, rich characters, and there's a story that you can go for. Metropolis, I don't think it's that deep. I mean, it can be freeing because that means there's a lot of places to go, or there's a lot of room for originality. But I mean, you're gonna have like a 40-something Perry White and probably like a fresh out of college Lois Lane, because Clark Kent gets there probably in his late 20s, early 30s. So, I guess there's room there, but to have a show about Metropolis without Clark Kent, I got to be honest, I'm having a hard time seeing it.
I mean, we were skeptical about Gotham when it was a baby Bruce, but at least it has Bruce.
Yeah.
And Krypton, it doesn't have Superman, but it does have Superman's, genetic forebears. So but Superman without Superman at all, and just I don't know. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I've been skeptical about other shows, and I was skeptical about Lucifer. The devil fights crime. Oh my God, please. So, I try not to prejudge, but Lois and Lex investigate fringe science with Superman nowhere in sight. I don't know, guys. That's a step.
Yeah, I mean, and I do like the idea of a Lex Luthor origin story.
Well, didn't we get that in Smallville?
I was going to say, yeah, I feel like we've already covered a lot of this ground. So I'm not sure where else there is to go there. But, I guess you got to fill this series with something, and they don't want to do straight up, if they're doing Titans, they don't want to do a straight up superhero show. And Gotham's already on the air. So I guess, but.
Well, and plus, then you get our, not skepticism, but this streaming service doesn't have a name. It doesn't have an announced, I don't want to say platform, but I mean, we don't know when the release date's going to be. They have all these ambitious plans, and they're bringing on relatively big name people. And yet, when are we going to see it? When, DC?
Yeah. And this is the 4th show they've announced, because we have Young Justice season 3. And the Harley Quinn animated series, and now we have Titans and now they're talking Metropolis. I want to see this get off the ground. I want to see,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they have to have enough content to induce people to sign up for it. I mean, you have to have something to slap your money down for. So I understand wanting to have a pretty good stable to do that. It's one of the reasons I think I don't want to go down the Star Trek path again, but the CBS All Access streaming thing, all you really get from them is Star Trek and The Good Fight, which are both, I mean, I see the attractions for both, but it's 2 shows. That's a lot. It's a stretch to put money down for that. So I get DC saying, look, 4 new shows, you should give us your money. But I just feel like we need a little bit more evidence in support of this thing going to happen.
Well, CBS All Access does have a huge catalog of older shows, right?
But I guess I haven't explored it that much, but don't I have Hulu? I suppose it has things available that I can't find anyplace else. And I suppose if CBS was smart, they pulled stuff off of Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime in order to drive people to their streaming service. But I'm not, there's enough new TV that I don't really need to spend a lot of time going back and watching old stuff, I guess. Yeah. So that to me is not a particularly strong selling point. Now, DC, because they do have things that are maybe deeper cuts that aren't as available everywhere. And because I feel like you have a little bit more passionate, like you don't have people going around saying, I'm a big CBS fan, like since I was a kid, CBS and me, like this. But you do have that with DC. So the back catalog DC thing makes a lot more sense than CBS. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm just talking myself into a hole, but I just announced the service already.
Yeah. Let's make this happen. Let's just do it, man. Just pull the trigger. Like
We've been patient.
Yeah. Like I want this to have a name. I want to know when it's going to be up. Actually, I want it to be up now. I want it. I mean, they say they're filming. Titans is supposed to come out in 2018. Metropolis, they're saying sometime in 2019. This is. Let's just get this done.
Do they know that this is 2018? Like, are they aware that?
Yeah.
We've hit that year and they need to maybe move on that? Do they know that?
I don't know. I think they do. I think they do. I just, it's enough with the promises. Let's just get this done. Let's just make it happen. All right. You ready for the winners of the week?
Totally, I'm ready for the winner of the week.
All right, you go first.
So I feel like I'm betraying my feminist roots by not saying Lena Luthor because she had such a "rawr, woman hear me roar" episode, but I'm instead going to make it Thirsty Lady because Tom Ellis / Lucifer had such a fun episode this week between the hallway fight set to a song with his character's name as the title, to the I just have to go back to the tight swim trunk, ridiculous sunglass DJ party on the driveway, everybody spraying each other with water. It was a good look for him. And it looked like a lot of fun. And he is just so fun when he's having fun. I mean, he's just got the best joy at hedonism character on TV. And it was delightful. So, Tom Ellis, thank you for making Lucifer so ridiculous and beautiful and ridiculously beautiful.
Cool. So I'm going with a theme this week. I'm going to say women with renewed purpose.
Oh, good. See, you got my Lena.
Yes,
Excellent.
yeah,
Thank you.
So I think Maze, had an interesting epiphany this week when she realized that, why she was attracted to Charlotte, and then just decided, you know what? No, I don't need it anymore. Lena, I thought she had a great arc this week. Cecile, we may have knocked that storyline, but now she's got something new to do, and to figure out with her relationship.
True.
And what else do we have? Was Black Lightning? I think Anissa is coming into her own with her powers.
Yep.
And on Arrow, Dinah, like she's on a mission now.
Dinah, for sure.
A vindictive homicidal mission, but it's a mission. So yeah, I think that's definitely something to look out for.
Well, there you have it. This week, Ed is thoughtful and Sarah is thirsty. So I'm not proud.
All right. Cool. Thanks for coming down. I think that's the DCTV report for this week.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
Yeah, and be sure to follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show in your podcast app of choice, and check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam!